Hallo, ek is Iti. Welkom by my kanaal waar ons als saam doen. Today marks the end of our Afrikaans plural formation journey. This is the last video in that series of mine, and today we look at words ending in ch, specifically words that we pronounce the last sound as ch. So this excludes words that end in the ng sound, which is formed by an N and a G next to each other in Afrikaans. That sound and its plural formation has already been dealt with in some of my previous videos. So if you haven't watched those, go back and watch those. But this one specifically looks at the plural formation of the words ending with the pronunciation of G as ch. When a word ends with ch, and it is preceded by a single vowel, one of the ones given above, then you just add t to the end to form the plural. Now, t is spelled t-e, but pronounced t. Let's look at the examples. Vrug, which is the Afrikaans word for a fruit, and the plural is vrugte. Nag, nagte. Vlug, vlugte, gedrog, gedrogte. That's a good one to use for practicing the pronunciation of g. Gedrog, gedrogte. There's a lot of g in there. And then wag, wagte, reg, regte, gewig, gewigte. And the last one, gesig, gesigte. Also, let me know in the comment section if you guys want me to make a completely separate video about the pronunciation of ch, how to form it, how to pronounce it. People have asked me about the ch sound, and I have included that in my alphabet video. But if you want a more elaborate one to practice the ch pronunciation, let me know. Now for the exceptions to the first rule. These do not follow a pattern. They do not follow a specific rule. These you must learn, and they are a tiny bit weird. Some of them look and is spelled like some other words that get a t in the end, and these don't. So there are more exceptions than these. I try to include as many as possible, but there might be some that I missed, and you'll have to learn those as well as you come across them in literature or just in learning the language. So let's look at sog. Sog there is the Afrikaans word for a sow, which is a female pig. And the plural. In the plural, the G falls away, falls away, and in its place you put an E, but then you put a kappie. You put a kappie on the O, and it becomes sog, soe, soe. Yeah, so that's a little bit of a mouthful and a little bit more challenging than some of the other plurals. The next one is wig, and that one's plural. The ch falls away, and in its place you put an e, and then you put the kappie. You put the kappie on the e, and it becomes wig, the. And the next one, trog. In that one, same story. The ch falls away, put an e in its place, and then put the kappie on the o. So it's trog, troe, troe. And then dag. Now, no kappie. This is another one. Learn dag. Dag, the ch falls away, you put an e in its place, but the a does not get a kappie. So it's dag and then da, da, da. But when we pronounce it, we don't really say da. We say da. You'll hear in Afrikaans conversation, people refer to, we were away for da lang. So we don't say da, we usually just say da. 4 days, 4 da. And if you hear da, da can either be dar, which we shorten in conversation, and we just say, look, da, look there. It's like a look, da. So, or, you know, it refers to the plural of days, being day, dag, da. So, learn that one. No kappie. And then we look at brug, and that one, the falls away, and the e goes in its place, but now you've got a, and that one gets a copy, and that one becomes bruh, bruh. So that's the plural of brug, which is a bridge. And then rug, that one, same story, falls away, and its place comes an e, and then the copy, and it becomes rug, r, r. And then oorlog, oorlog. That's the word for war. And that one, the falls away. In its place comes an e, but now we have the doikies, doikies, dots on the e. So it's not a copy on the o. It is in fact now doikies on the e. So, so you have to learn that one again because it doesn't follow this sort of pattern that the other weird ones follow. This has its own weirdness. So oorloë, oorloë, oorloë. When we talk, we just say oorloë, you know, and it becomes like you can't even hear that the doikie e exists because we speak too quickly. But it's oorloë. And then spoorweg, and that one, the G falls away, falls away. In its place comes an e, and that's again deelteken doikie e. So it becomes spoorweg, and then spoorweë, 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 spoorweë. So spoorweë. Yeah. So these you have to learn. When a word ends in ch, but that ch is preceded by a, so by the lang klank a, then you drop the ch and then a, and you add an e in its place. So it's minus a, minus ch, plus e. Now, before we look at the examples, in the previous one, we looked at the word dag, and its plural becomes da. So the ch falls away, but it's only one a. So dag is the exception to this rule as well, or one of the exceptions. It follows this rule where you drop the ch and add an e, but it doesn't have two as. It just have one single a, and still it looks like these and doesn't get a copy or a deelteken. So just remember that. Right, so we look at laag. Laag. Now you have the G falls away, an A falls away, and in its place you put an E, and that becomes la. So laag, la. Laag, la. And then we have maag, ma. Maag, ma. And then saag, sa. Saag, sa. And then plaag, pla. Plaag, pla. I mean, you could wonder why they don't just put two A's. But alas, we will never know. So we just, continue in the manner that we do. Vraag, vra. Vraag, vra. Let's look at the next one. Now this rule states when a word ends with ch, and it is preceded by the double o lang klank, which is oe. The second o and the ch falls away, and in its place you put an e with doikies, a deelteken e. So it's different from the previous one where you had the a sound, because when the G and the A falls away there, you put just an e. But in this one, you add an e with the doikies. Right, so examples. Boog, boe. Boog, boe. Oog, oe. Oog, oe. Grade boog. Grade boe. Oh, neuroloog. Neuroloog. And then exception there at the bottom. Voog. That one does not adhere to this rule. So the ch does not fall away. Neither does an o. What happens is you put a de e. Voog de. Not even a te. So this one is not voogde. It is not voe. It is voogde. There might be one or two that follows the same exception. I could not think of it. But Voogde. So learn this one. Alrighty, so we've arrived at the last rule, and this one is even more slightly confusing. If a word ends in ch, and it is preceded by the u vowel, the u vowel, which is an o and an e next to each other, then you drop the ch and you add a doikie e. So there's no vowel that drops in this case. Only the ch is dropped, no vowel, and you add another doikie e. So ploeg, which is the word for a plow in Afrikaans, that becomes ploe. Ploeg, ploe. So it's not ploe, it's ploe in this case. Kroeg, which is a bar, that becomes kroe. Kroe. And then boeg, boe. And then there is the odd one out, which is the exception to this particular rule. And that is the word vlieg, which is the Afrikaans word for the insect fly or a fly. And that plural is vliee. Now, the only thing that happens is this is a different vowel that precedes the ch. It's also a vowel that has two vowels combined. Vlieg. And it follows the same rules. You drop the G and you add a doikie e. Vlieg. Vliee. Wow, alright, so we made it through all 6 of the plural videos. If you've watched all 6 of them, thank you so much. I really, truly appreciate it. I hope you've learned a lot. If you guys have any more questions about plural formation in Afrikaans, please do not be shy. Ask me in the comment section. If there's anything that didn't make sense in the videos that I made, please tell me. If you want further clarification, please let me know. And if you have any other questions about anything else, also let me know. If you have requests for videos, drop a comment. Alright, so I hope this series was meaningful to you, and may you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video.